Welcome back to our channel. Today, we delve into the mind-bending effects of living alone for years. This is going to blow your mind. A quiet evening at home, lost in a good book. The pages turn and the world outside fades away. In these moments, solitude feels like a warm embrace, a sanctuary from the chaos of daily life, a long walk in nature, just you and your thoughts. The rustling leaves, the chirping birds, and the gentle breeze create a symphony of peace. Here, solitude is a companion offering clarity and a sense of calm. We all crave moments of solitude, brief respites from the constant buzz of social interaction. These moments allow us to reflect, to dream, and to simply be. They are essential for our mental well-being. Solitude, in measured doses, can be restorative, a chance to recharge and reconnect with ourselves. It is in these quiet moments that we often find our greatest insights and inspirations. But what happens when solitude stretches from days into months, years, or even decades? When the silence becomes deafening and the isolation overwhelming, what are the effects of prolonged isolation on the human mind and spirit? The absence of social interaction can lead to feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and even depression. While short periods of solitude can be rejuvenating, long-term isolation can have profound and often unsettling effects. The mind, deprived of external stimuli, can begin to turn inward, sometimes in destructive ways. The human brain, for all its complexity, thrives on connection. We are wired to seek out and maintain relationships, to share our experiences and emotions with others. We are social creatures by nature, wired for interaction and engagement. These connections are not just pleasant, they are vital for our mental and emotional health. When deprived of these essential elements, the mind can begin to unravel in unexpected and sometimes disturbing ways. The double-edged sword of solitude can cut deep, reminding us of the delicate balance between alone time and social connection. Scientific research paints a stark picture of the impact of prolonged isolation on the brain. When individuals are cut off from social interactions for extended periods, the effects can be profound and far-reaching. Studies show that social isolation can lead to actual structural changes in the brain. These changes are not just superficial, but can alter the very architecture of our neural networks. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and social behavior, can shrink in size. This shrinkage can impair our ability to make sound decisions and interact socially, leading to a cascade of negative outcomes. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes overactive, leaving individuals in a heightened state of anxiety and stress. This overactivity can make it difficult to manage fear and anxiety, exacerbating feelings of distress. Furthermore, isolation disrupts the production of key neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which are essential for mood regulation, motivation, and feelings of well-being. Without these chemicals, individuals may struggle to find joy or motivation in daily activities. This chemical imbalance can contribute to depression, anxiety, and even increase the risk of developing dementia in later life. The lack of social interaction can accelerate cognitive decline, making it harder for individuals to maintain their mental faculties. The brain, starved of social stimulation, begins to malfunction, impacting not only our mental health but also our physical well-being. This lack of stimulation can lead to a decline in physical health, making it harder for individuals to perform everyday tasks and maintain their independence. Yet for some, solitude is not a burden, but a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to step away from the noise and chaos of everyday life. It becomes a path to spiritual enlightenment and self-discovery, a journey inward to explore the depths of one's own mind and soul. Monks, hermits, and spiritual seekers throughout history have retreated from society, finding solace and wisdom in quiet contemplation. They have sought the tranquility that comes from being alone, away from the distractions of the world. For these individuals, solitude is not about social deprivation, but about deepening their connection with something larger than themselves. It is about finding a sense of peace and clarity that can only be achieved in the absence of external influences. They use the stillness and silence to cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and inner peace. In these moments of solitude, they can reflect on their lives, their purpose, and their place in the universe. Studies on monks who practice long-term meditation have shown remarkable neurological changes, including increased grey matter in areas associated with attention, emotional regulation, and empathy. These findings suggest that chosen solitude can lead to profound mental and emotional benefits. Their experience highlights the crucial distinction between chosen solitude and forced isolation. While forced isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness and despair, chosen solitude is empowering, offering a sanctuary for personal growth and self-improvement. The stark reality is that, for many, isolation is not a choice but a punishment. Solitary confinement, a practice used in prisons worldwide, subjects individuals to extreme isolation, often for extended periods. The psychological effects of this forced isolation are well documented and undeniably cruel. Prisoners in solitary confinement experience severe psychological distress, including anxiety, depression, paranoia, hallucinations, and suicidal thoughts. The United Nations considers prolonged solitary confinement, defined as longer than 15 days, to be a form of torture. It inflicts lasting psychological damage, often leaving individuals ill-equipped to reintegrate into society upon release. Throughout history, there have been remarkable individuals who, by choice or circumstance, have lived in near total isolation for extended periods. Christopher Knight, known as the North Pond Hermit, spent 27 years living alone in the woods of Maine, surviving by pilfering food and supplies from nearby cabins. Agafia Lykova, part of a family of Russian Old Believers, has lived most of her life in the Siberian wilderness, her only contact with the outside world being the occasional visit from researchers and journalists. While their stories are fascinating, they also raise questions about the limits of human resilience and the fundamental need for social connection. So how much solitude is too much? While there is no one-size-fits-all answer, experts agree that finding the right balance between solitude and social connection is crucial for mental and emotional well-being. Psychologists suggest scheduling regular social interactions, even if they are brief. Engaging in hobbies, joining clubs, and volunteering are all excellent ways to combat loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. It's also essential to be mindful of the quality of our social interactions. Superficial connections are not a substitute for deep, meaningful relationships. In our increasingly connected world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant barrage of information and social demands. Yet true solitude, the kind that allows for introspection and self-discovery, is becoming increasingly rare. Perhaps it's time to ask ourselves, how comfortable are we with our own company? Could we handle extended periods of solitude, or would we crumble under the weight of our own thoughts? The answers to these questions reveal much about our values, our fears, and our understanding of what it means to be human. The digital age presents both challenges and opportunities when it comes to solitude. While technology can facilitate connection, it can also lead to social isolation, particularly for those who are already vulnerable. We must be mindful of our online habits and strive to create meaningful connections, both online and offline. The conversation about solitude is ongoing, and it's one that we need to have collectively. What are your thoughts on solitude in the digital age? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below.